Folks, I have a new TV here and to my computer hooked up. But anyways, yeah, this is from RBN again. About Nolvani, it's what the so-called media praise of him and this and that, and if what happened to him is terrible, I guess. But Putin does this. He's it's terrible that he died, I guess, in prison. But this guy's not as such. This guy is not what you think he is. Nolvani. He's first of all, this guy's a Nazi. Definitely, he's a Nazi. And not just these guys are saying it. RBN, far left channel. I think it's this from Julian Assange exposed them. That these guys are Nazis. The so-called movement, in the resistance movement, he's a leader of. So what? And he's backed by the CIA, which Nick will explain that he's backed by Washington. So the Washington is trying to install the regime change, doing regime change, get rid of Putin to install a Nazi in Russia. Think about that, folks. Washington wants to put in Nazis to run Russia. Isn't that interesting? That's a good title too. I'm going to use that title for this video. Maybe. Okay, let's see what Nick says.
With CIA over your own people? You have Russia, one of the most diverse countries in the world. Giant Muslim population. And he said he wanted to deport all the Muslims. So liberals, when Trump said he wanted to deport some of the Muslims, you had Dr. Cornel West and liberals was outraged at Trump for saying something I disagree with and deporting some Muslims.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Alexei Navalny said we should deport all the Muslims in Russia. Constantly.
See, Trump said he wants to do a ban, actually, on Russians, and he might, and also deport some. But he wants to do another Muslim ban. That's what Trump said.
Them as cockroaches, but Dr. Cornel West and liberals want to eulogize them. Well, let's get my friend in. You guys know how to start with it.
Exactly right. That's terrible. You put him in like the same light as Mumami and then some others. I mean, we put them in like black activists who were imprisoned in the U.S. You put them in Nolvani in the same light as that, and that's terrible. Dr. West did. I'll continue.
The intro rant. Better guest you had today is my good friend Misty Winston. What's poppin', my friend?
Hey, how are you doing? It's quite a day, right?
I'm gonna get you started right off. What's your thoughts about Alexei Navalny and all the people who was mysteriously quiet about the person that you got in your background? These are the same people that, and I don't want to spoil the segment coming up. These are the same people that are like, why are you guys so focused on Assange? Why is Misty so focused on Assange? These same people are writing paragraphs, writing articles, writing fucking diary notes about fucking a traitor scumbag like Leslie Nolvani. But Misty, I pass it to you.
It's funny. It's very funny, folks. Like the fascists are trying to take over, man. I don't know. It feels like the Ukraine now and Russia. If Putin's a bad guy too, no doubt. But still, who's worse? I think Putin's not bad. Putin's bad, but getting fascists are far worse than Putin, folks. Far worse. I'm sorry, folks. If you get rid of Putin, then you have some other guy take over. Fascists. and the West is backing him. Wow.
What's your thoughts before I get into some segments?
I mean, what a time to be alive, right? First we had Canada giving a standing ovation to an actual Nazi. Now we have.
Oh yeah, that was a mistake there. I think that's Mr. Trudeau. One of his wasn't really Mr. Trudeau. Mr. Trudeau was some other. I don't know how the Speaker of the House that back then invited him, and eventually that speaker stepped down. The Speaker of the Parliament in Parliament and stepped down at the House. So.
Have the likes of Bernie Sanders eulogizing Alexei Navalny as if he's some courageous dissident. It makes me sick. It's so disgusting to me, and it's not not surprising, right? This is not surprising at all. The United States does love their Nazis. We've seen that play out for a very long time. I mean, listen, after World War II, the Nazis weren't defeated. We just took them in. We gave them new names and jobs.
Yeah, it's called Operation Paperclip. So you folks look that up. I think you already know what it is. Most of y'all know.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
bullshit.
yeah, that's true. That's reality. That's reality. So yeah, it's and yes, don't even get me started, Ryan. I saw that too. The Stella thing.
Oh man, I didn't know if you wanted to comment on that or not, but that shit was cringe. I was like, man, I got all these receipts. I saw her, I was like, fuck.
I don't want to comment on it because it's fucking weird, but I'll comment on it because it's fucking weird. Like, why? Why?
Since someone brought it up, like, bro,
It's bizarre, Nick. Like, you can call attention to the plight of political prisoners without praising Alexei Navalny. Are you joking? This guy is an unbelievable scumbag. He is a vile, unrepentant, racist Nazi scumbag, and so praising him as some courageous dissident that called out Putin. That's not.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of the Muslims in Russia, as Nick pointed out. And this guy's a racist, and but all the media, all the Western media, praised him. So, wow.
Not necessary. You can say that political prisoners around the world, blah blah blah. You can do all of those things.
She's talking about Hassan's wife. I think she was saying that the way he died in prison, maybe. She's trying to say that, and she's trying to be kind, maybe. That's what she's talking about. Hassan's wife, saying that, and plus he's a prisoner. So, but I guess she went overboard. But you're gonna see.
Without praising this guy, it's just weird. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
I mean, this is it here. I don't want to spoil my segment too much because I'm going to cover these people, but Stella Assange makes no damn sense, man.
No.
Utterly devastating news. Nolvani has died in prison. Devastating. What?
Non-devastating.
He was only 47. Nolvani was an opposition figure. What does
his
who
investigative journalism?
Fam. Nazis in this country are opposition figures to Biden, if you in a certain sense. So you don't praise them just because they hate Biden. Nazis don't like Biden in this country,
right?
So you don't praise them because they don't like Biden because they're fucking Nazis.
Exactly.
Why don't people get this? So Stella Assange is very weird, man.
It's not even just that, Nick. We have to also point out the fact that Julian Assange himself, WikiLeaks revealed information that showed evidence that Nolvani is a CIA asset. Assange did that. Assange proved that he is a CIA asset. The same people who are trying to kill Julian. It's just weird. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yep, folks. Backed by the CIA. So they're trying to do a regime change. That's what the West is trying to do. And Washington's trying to do in Russia. So it's more than all just. It's not just war. We're trying to defend Ukraine. It's more like they want to get rid of Putin. The Washington's trying to do, or the so-called West is trying to do, get rid of Putin. It's more than the Ukraine. Thing is, they want to install Nazis I don't care if there's Nazis in Ukraine or in Russia, apparently. It hasn't gone away. The Nazis hasn't gone away, folks. It seems like they're getting stronger. It's very troubling, actually. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not, but I don't know.
And I'm trying not. I mean, I guess I am kind of being hard on her. I'm trying not to be too hard on her because, listen, her husband is
We
facing.
can have a substantive critique without
Yes.
being mean. And I think we're not being mean. I'm not being mean.
I'm not
You're
trying to
being
be mean. I'm really
You're
not
not being
trying to be mean. I'm trying to understand what the fuck's going on. Because if there's some reason for this, somebody please explain it to me. Because it doesn't make sense to me. And I understand. In a couple days, her husband is facing extradition to a country that was revealed to be plotting to assassinate him. I'm sure that is overwhelming. I'm sure that she is dealing with a whole host of emotions.
I think this is before the hearing. I don't know what happened. I should look back. I think it's still going on. I think. I don't know if he's extradited. He's not. There's no news yet. So maybe it's still going on.
And issues and all of that stuff. So I don't know, but it's just I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
We're gonna cover more of that here soon.
Well, there hasn't been a ruling yet, I should say. Maybe the hearing's stopped now. The hearing's over, but there hasn't been a ruling yet. So
I guess that's Stella's take. She's gonna be part of the bin. the tired people who, and this is what the theme I'm going to cover this live stream is. I'm very tired, and we've been talking about the scourge of anti-intellectualism on the Western left. I'm tired of the lack of curiosity that many people who are social democrats and progressives in this country has. Because I told you guys, I really didn't look into Nolvani that much. It's not like Russia, not my country, like whatever, not my business. It took me all but fucking an hour at best to put this hotspot video that you guys saw together. And I'm like, okay, I looked into this motherfucker for 1 second, and I realized that he's a Nazi traitor scum. I explained it on the live stream before. I didn't know that much about Nolvani. It took me 30 minutes at best.
Yeah.
30 minutes to an hour at best. So how are these people getting...
Hey folks, I want to go back to that video once I'm done here and show you what he's talking about. The video he put out in the hotspot.
Wrong. And if people think we're being tough on Cornel West and all these uncurious people, who on RBN is getting this issue wrong? Like, they keep getting issues wrong. And they're like, oh man, come on man, he's getting one issue wrong. No one in RBN, no one in our community getting this wrong because we are curious. I am tired of the lack of curiosity in this space and people just being ignorant and happily ignorant. But Miss, I know you want to chime in. Feel free, and then I'm gonna.
I'm tired of people making excuses. Like underneath Cornel West, like I commented or I retweeted it and I commented about it, and they were like, "Oh, well, he just doesn't know." Are you fucking joking? He's Cornel West. That's not an excuse. You cannot make that excuse. It's not. And he called him his brother. I know it's his shtick, but it's so weird and gross. And the whole time when he did Jimmy Dore,
called his brother. Oh my God.
He was throwing a tantrum about, oh, well, Trump's a fascist, Trump's a Nazi. You just praised an actual Nazi.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
You just lamented the fact that Alexei Navalny died in prison. He's an actual Nazi, my guy. Like, it's just, all day yesterday, Nick, I felt like I was on drugs. I'm like, I can't tell you the number of times, I'm not joking, I can't tell you the number of times I was sitting there scrolling on my phone and I would utter under my breath, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, am I taking crazy pills? What is going on? It's just unreal. It is unreal. Oh.
We're not being mean. I'm being nice. Me and Rome and
I
RBN, despite the fact that me, Savvy, almost everyone at RBN brutally racial about Cornel West, and we're being nice.
Yeah.
I want you guys to understand. I'm
West.
gonna show you guys this very soon. There's no excuse. No excuse. You know who has an excuse, Misty? The person who has a factory job in the family.
Yes.
He's working 50 hours a week because he goes home, take care of his wife.
Yeah, the average people don't know. Average working class. Cause they watch the mainstream news and they say, like it's a black and white thing. It's not nuanced. Like Nolvani is all good and Putin's all bad. I mean, there's certain nuance. And we're the good guys. The West is the good guys. The West, US, Canada, and all the West. We're the good guys and they're the bad guys. But it's mostly not like that. It's nuance.
Wife and family. It's
a lot of gray areas.
I keep him so mentally sane. This motherfucker don't know about no Nolvani.
No.
Unless he watch podcasts on the side like ours.
No.
That person has an excuse. We don't have an excuse, Misty.
No.
We don't, because a big part of what we do, we are educators. We communicate and we educate people about issues. If you're in this space educating people, there's no excuse. You want to know the person who has absolutely no excuse more than anyone else? Dr. Cornel West, RFK, Marianne Wilson, anyone who put their own hands up and said, I want to be the leader.
Marianne Wilson is out. She's no longer a candidate.
Guys, you know how many people ask me to run? I'm not bragging, but quite a few people, almost every video, you need to run. And I decline. There's a level of, I'm like, I don't believe I am deserving of that position. Like, there's so much work that I would never do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not deserving of that position. And most people feel that way, even if they are deserving of that position. There's a humility involved in that. And also there's kind of like anxiety. There's fear of being in charge. There's a level of expectation that is put on you. So I decline many times, man. I'm not trying to brag. That's just me making a point. Many people ask me to run. I'm like, that. I'm not the guy. I'm still young. I got a lot of issues. I still got a lot of mental problems I'm working through as well. I'm mentally mature enough to admit that. But if you volunteer to be the leader, if you decide that you want people to show up and vote for you as a leader, you are expected to get all these goddamn issues right.
Maybe not all of them, but this one's really fucking easy. No, because I think that there's room for, listen, I'm still learning about things. I'm still changing my mind on issues. I'm presented with new information and I'm like, oh, okay, I hadn't considered that. And I think every human being on planet Earth, regardless of whether you're running for president, you are the president, it doesn't matter. You should be in that space. You should be open and receptive to new information and willing to change your mind. And so there's going to be issues where something happens, new information comes forward, and you're going to change your mind. So I don't expect somebody to be right all of the time, but I do expect somebody to at least be educated about what's going on and at least know who Alexei Navalny is and what he stood for. And at least, again, I don't expect you to be right on every single issue, but I do, this one's easy. This one's so fucking easy. Yeah. I mean, don't praise Nazis. I feel like that's pretty basic. Don't praise Nazis.
Yeah, I respect where you're coming from. And there were a lot of people who, after Bernie, they shifted to the right. Like, after Bernie, they was like, yeah, we okay with Marianne Wilson. You okay with a downgrade? Damn, after Bernie, I'm like, you gotta be way better than Bernie. You have to be way better than Bernie for me to ever get on board. This is what I'm saying. You have to be like Rome, guys. You guys, for me at this point, Rome is.
Folks, I want to see the video. I mean, see in the beginning you have the hotspot video. Let's see what he's talking about. See, Alexei Navalny, vocal critic of Vladimir Putin, dies in prison. Okay, blah blah blah. Let's see what it started the video. Let's see what it.
Alexei Navalny, the CIA propped up opposition to Putin, is now dead. Now all the hawks against Russia are reacting exactly as we expected them to, claiming that Putin killed Nolvani because he was terrified of him. Despite what you hear from the corporate media in the West, Alexei Nolvani is a fringe political figure who struggles to get 2% support in Russia. The reason Alexei Nolvani never became popular in Russia is because he's a white supremacist.
Let's see, Nolvani goes. Let's go what he's. I'm gonna go back to what here is. Let's go back to this poll if I could see it. And I can't. Do you approve of this? Do you approve or disapprove of Alexei Navalny's activity? And there's the okay. I can't zoom in on this. There's a poll here, I guess. Against, approve. And different other categories. I guess different demographics. Do you approve or disapprove? I think there's approval and disapproval. So I guess you're saying that there's a lot of people disapprove. And let's go on. Let's go forward.
Corporate media in the West, Alexei Navalny is a fringe political figure who struggles to get 2% support in Russia. The reason Alexei Navalny
it says there, let's go back here. It says there.
Figure.
I could read here. You can see, it says, here is a joke. Nolvani was a marginal opposition figure who polled at around 2%. Putin didn't hear from him. It served Putin's interest to have him seat in the West as the main opposition. The Russian government, okay, meanwhile, has just buried anti-war candidate Boris Johnson, whether a Russian court has also issued a draconian prison sentence to anti-war socialist Boris Zelensky. Oh, really? We don't hear about people. We don't hear about people like Noah Skuzin and because it's Fiskowski in the West nearly as much as it for like Nolvani. They don't collaborate with the Western governments. Nolvani worked with NATO, Intel, cut out Bellingcat, and went through the Yale World Follow program. What the hell is okay? A regime change training ground. Oh my God! See, this guy's a CIA puppet, folks. See, he says that there's actual just buried anti-war candidate Boris Nazakin. A Russian court has also issued to put in prison. See, his actual a Russian court has just issued a draconian prison sentence to anti-war socialist Boris Sokolsky. See, these actual socialists are put in jail. And the West is not talking about this guy. See, they're locking up the socialists. Putin's locking up the socialists, and the West is not saying nothing about it. Because they're socialists. Hold on. Hold on. Issue a draconian prison to anti-socialists. Okay, these guys. Okay, I'm wrong. He's not anti-socialist. He's not a socialist. He's anti-socialist. I'm wrong. But this guy's not I don't think he's a Nazi. So why would they see? So maybe he's a capitalist, but he's not a. This guy maybe he's a. See, they're not worried about Nolvani. How come they allowed him to come back in the country? But they probably did kill him though. And I'm trying to read this thing here, but they're saying, okay, he's back, but didn't say the 2%. The 2%, I don't know what the source is. Can't really see. 2% poll. And this guy, both not gonna say a Russian court has also in prison for anti-war socialist. Oh no, he's a socialist. He's an anti-war. I'm wrong. I'm right. So he's a socialist. See, Putin's locking up socialists. I'm right. I'm right the first time. He's locking up socialists. So he locked up as anti-war socialists in prison. Putin locked him up, and he sentenced him in prison. It's actual opposition he's locking up, like real opposition. And Navalny's just a joke. He just see, Putin allowed him to come back in the country. So why would Putin kill him? You see, folks, I believe that is weird. Maybe some other people want him killed. Maybe Putin did kill him, but I don't know. Most likely, it's like my conspiracy theory that maybe, who knows? Could Washington have him killed? No, I don't think so. Maybe some other factions had him killed in Russia. Besides, maybe it wasn't Putin. I don't know. Could have been. Could have been the Nazis themselves had him killed. That's another. I just thought of that now. Maybe they were not Nazis. Had him killed. So why would Putin kill this guy? He's at 2%. He's no threat to him, according to these guys, and their source are saying. This is Aaron Mate. I think this is Aaron Mate. Okay, this is from the gray, I guess the gray zone. This article. See? Aaron Mate. Probably, yeah. That's what it looks like. Ah, this is from Aaron Mate. Okay, this is a good source, folks. This is from Aaron Mate, so see? So Aaron Mate is pretty good. But I think then in Syria he's got it. I don't know, he's wrong on Syria. But he has good, so he's a good, this is a good journalist. In most cases, again, most cases, sometimes he gets it wrong. 2%, so this is a good source, Aaron Mate. 2%, so why Putin would have him killed? That's another thing. What if it wasn't some other factions that got him killed? I mean, we're gonna run the rest of it, folks. You'll see what Nick's talking about.
Who struggles to get 2% support in Russia. The reason Alexei Navalny never became popular in Russia is because he's a white supremacist who attended countless neo-Nazi rallies. Alexei Navalny has openly called for deporting all Muslims from Russia, which is way worse than anything Donald Trump said, but liberals still support Navalny. Americans in the West need to understand how much Russia...
So it says there, has Navalny moved from his nationalist past? There's an article there. I guess they got...
These white supremacists and Nazis like Alexei Navalny. Russia is the country who defeated the Nazis, by the way, and they did so while losing tens of millions of people. Because of this history, this is why Russia punishes Nazis like Alexei Navalny, while Ukraine celebrates them and gives them government roles. Because of Alexei Navalny's extreme ideology, he never stood...
It's terrible, folks. On August 4th, the Moscow City Court sentenced Alexei Navalny to 19 years in a penal colony on charges including financing or inciting Nazi extremism and rehabilitating the Nazi ideology. This new sentence adds a further, here, you see his current prison sentence, August 4th, 2023. So he was a bad guy, folks, but he shouldn't be killed, though. You know what I mean? Why would they have him killed? That's another thing. But he shouldn't have been killed, though, folks.
The chance of being a credible opposition to Putin in Russia. But what does it say about the West that they embraced him as a champion of democracy? All the liberals in the West that are melting down about the death of this white supremacist scum Alexei Navalny hasn't said a word about Julian Assange, who the United States is actively trying to kill. These are the same people who didn't say a goddamn thing when prominent Palestinian journalist Shireen Abdul Akleh was brutally murdered by the Israeli government, and the Israeli crimes was covered up by the Biden administration. The biggest cowards in the world are the people who spend all their time spreading lies about the enemies of the United States instead of holding our own government accountable.
What we know about the Israelis? I'm not going to go into the Israelis and the war there. That's, wow. It goes all the way back, and wow. What's going on there is that's another story, folks. The Israeli and the Hamas and Palestine. That's another story. But I'm not going into that. But Nolvani, there it is, folks. Nolvani is I think this is at the end of the hotspot video.
I've been greatly enjoying this story.
Okay, I went back to that. But Navalny, this guy's a Nazi, and the U.S. Washington's trying to prop him up as the opposition to Putin, as the next leader to Putin, because the next leader, Putin, somehow they're propping him up, trying to get him elected. It is another fair election. It is a fair election. You know what I mean? So I believe those numbers, 2%. So they try and install him into the Russian government, to be the leader of the Russia, an out Nazi. I believe he is. See, he's like extremist past. These are articles. Aaron Mate has an article. You see? An actual socialist. There's actually real opposition to Putin. I mean, good, and then not real, but okay, yeah, good opposition. Not a fascist. Anti-war socialist in jail, being jailed by Putin. So Putin's not just against Nazis, he's against socialists too. He's against the communists. Putin is a bad guy, but the Nazis are worse, folks. The Nazis are worse than the socialists. I mean, and the rest, CIA and the West are propping them up to take over Russia. Yeah, I could say that. I guess they're propping up a Nazi, so they don't want they want the Nazis in Russia. Anyways, folks, that's it for this video. Till the next one.